Okay,
Okay.
Emily? Ah, hi. Hi,
Hi,
Emily. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Fine. So we are now live. People will be watching us and maybe asking some questions. And if not,
Okay.
people see this after.
Mhm.
So thank you for being here
You're
as
welcome.
a guest.
I never
So
thought I'd be here as a success story for my. I'm
well,
really happy.
I was very excited to do this interview with you because I think you are going to give a lot of good vibes to people because uh, you know and they know that is
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard at the beginning to
Yeah.
get these residencies. I'm going to explain. So Emily has a freelance visa now. It's been renewed.
Mhm.
Uh, so she has an English academy, and I think it's very interesting for the people because I have a lot of freelance visas or people that want to get a freelance visa teaching English, and you've been very successful because not only you teach English, but you have your own academy. So it's
Mhm.
really one step more than a lot of people, and maybe you get I don't know, you need to give advices not only in immigration but maybe in business too because that is very successful. But this was not so easy at the beginning, and I want to share. So Emily, you can explain it because Emily tried to come here in the beginning with entrepreneur visa, and this is
Mhm.
very good because people how do you say, people don't or people doesn't,
Yeah.
people don't
Mhm.
people don't understand very well, or really it's not very well explained, the difference between entrepreneur visa and freelance visa, and choosing one or the other can make you things sometimes more difficult. This happened to you and happened to a lot of people because Emily chose first entrepreneur visa,
Mhm.
and she was very stressed because she wanted to do everything perfect, but she didn't understood very well, or it was not very the people didn't advise you very well
Mhm.
to know if that was the correct way, the entrepreneur visa or the freelance visa. Because tell us about a little bit your story. You came here as a tourist, right?
Yeah. So I think like that's the key, that I never knew what I was really applying for, and no one really explained it to me. So I think like when I hear freelance, that's more just somebody who, I think of somebody working from home or working by themselves. And so when I wanted to open an academy and a business, it made more sense. Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. I'm opening a
Exactly.
business. But no one ever really explained. I actually didn't even know there was a freelance visa. And then my husband and I were kind of like advised by various people that, oh, you can, like even the consulate in New York, where I was living before I was in Spain, said, oh, yeah, like you can do this once you're in Spain. So you can get to Spain as a tourist because, Americans can be in Spain for 3 months. You can do all of this paperwork or these
That
trámites.
is very important what you are saying, because a lot of you, when you get an advice from the consulate, you are 100% sure that is a perfect advice.
Yeah.
And it was not. And sometimes the consulate is not very specialist also, and they don't really know the differences. And they told you, yes, go and apply from here, because entrepreneur visas can be applied from here.
hmm And I think that was the problem too. If you were just to like go online, which I did, and go to the consulate's website and look at the checklist of what you need to apply for an entrepreneurial visa, I met all those check marks. So like you were saying, I wanted to do everything and I thought I was doing it, but there were these like cracks and spaces that I didn't know I wasn't filling. And no one could
Exactly.
really explain that to me.
So for the people that is listening this for the first time, there are two ways to have your business in Spain. Even if it's, as Emily says, even it's going to be small, or even if you want a big company or a medium company, there is a freelance visa or an entrepreneur visa. But the main difference is that for the entrepreneur visa, because it has some benefits that are very, very good, like applying from Spain, or like including family members in order to have the work permit. These two benefits makes this visa very restrictive in the business that can meet the requirements, because basically they want the business to bring innovation to Spain, or be like a very big impact maybe in the economy of that city, that or that village that you are going to set there your business. And Emily had something, so she worked very hard. She had things that was like were very, very good, because you had already talked to the places, right, to where you tell them about.
So I think one of the reasons I also chose the entrepreneurial visa was that idea of being innovative, because my academy's not in Seville Center. It's in a small farming community outside of Seville where there's really no access to academies, especially academies run by native speakers. So I had a letter from the mayor's office in that town. I had a letter from Andalucía Emprende, which is a big company in Andalusia that supports like innovative businesses. So I had that innovative piece, but I didn't have the other piece, which was it wasn't going to my business is small. It's not going to create a lot of jobs for that community at all. It's me running the business and that's it. So I didn't ever have that other piece, but I didn't know that I kind of needed to have both things working together. So
it's very good, your example, because you were a little bit in the middle. You were very close to get things, because normally people don't even have all those letters that you got from Andalucía Emprende. So when I saw those letters, I was surprised of how far you went to to prove that there was innovation, and to prove that that it was a valid project for entrepreneurial visa. But the thing is that what I really know is that they are like very, very restrictive, and that we really have to go very, very careful with this kind of visa. And it was a shame, because maybe when you have maybe you really want the entrepreneurial visa because of the benefits of asking from applying from here, or because of the family. But maybe maybe if for you, Emily, it was okay from applying from New York, and in the end that is how we did it. So I always stop people pushing for the entrepreneurial visa, and I do a lot. But the thing is that we really have to study what is the correct visa for you, because you are having your business perfectly with your freelance visa, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's the key. Is I spent so much time going down like the wrong path, and once I actually met you and started working with you and started moving on the right path, everything moved smoothly. But it was that time I spent before, which was a good amount of time,
Yeah.
where I
Yeah,
just
because
was lost and no one was really, because even if when there was no one that really explained to me where I needed to be or how I needed to do it for a very long time.
exactly, that is what I found with you and with a lot of people, that when you start getting different information from a lot of places, you are in a point that you don't even know what to do, or who is saying the correct information, because New York consulate is saying one thing, and maybe another advisor here, or immigration, because this is
That's it.
crazy. But even if you go to immigration in Spain, they don't advise you correctly. They are not well informed, so it is
But
crazy.
you said that. I will always remember that. You said that to me the first time I met with you. And I told you like an anecdote. Well, the guy at immigration in Seville said this. And you're like, you know what? The people who know immigration best are the lawyers. Sometimes not even and that's like always stuck with me. Because of course, you go into an immigration office and you think that they're going to have all the answers to your questions, and especially like working with you when you're in a country that's not your own. I think that was a whole other like added layer of confusion, because all of these terms and all of these things that I needed to do, it was so foreign to me, because it just in a place where I barely knew what I was doing, and I didn't really have like the context to kind of help me. So I think it's like super important for people trying to get a visa in a new country to have somebody directing them, because if not, it's really easy to get lost.
Yes, and don't worry if you are getting different information. So
Yeah.
I think you need to understand the situation in Spain, and the situation in Spain is that we are not very advanced in immigration. It's not like for example, I always say in the US there are tougher laws for immigration,
Yeah.
but I feel that everything is like very well explained, so they make easier for the people that want to comply with the law. Like
Mhm.
they can find it, and they will know how to do. And in Spain, we don't have so very good instructions, official instructions from immigration in Spain, that can immigration in Spain or at the consulate can give it to you and follow step by step. There are like very like simple list, that is the one that you were following, and you had
Yeah.
everything.
Exactly. That I think that's the key. Like even if you think you're even if you think you're checking off every single box, there's always like one thing. I just feel like so much more. That's why when anything comes up now, I just like prefer to like run it by you, because I know that like, oh, I might not know this little thing, even if
Well, and I can tell everyone that Emily follows very the little box and the little line, so is very thorough with her job.
And I think like that was driving me crazy too, because I was like, wait, I thought I did everything and I thought I checked it 10 times over. And
Yeah, it's true. And let us know, how is your experience with the academy, and how did you get the courage to come here and start this academy? Let's give some good ideas for the
so
people.
I studied abroad in Spain 10 years ago now. And I always like, when I left Madrid, I always had it in my head, like, oh, I want to be able to go back to this country. I love this country. But, as an American citizen, to move to Europe, most Americans I know that actually live in Europe, it's because they're married to a European.
Yeah.
Or they work remotely, but they work for a US company. So I don't actually know that many Americans who just are living in Europe and working on their own. But I got it in my head and I'm stubborn. So after 5 years of living in New York, I just really wanted to come back. And I was a bilingual teacher in New York. And so I felt like, it was more than just like, oh, I'm an American, I can open an academy. Like, yes, I am a native speaker, but I'm also like a teacher. That's my profession. So I felt, really confident in that. And like, it is my passion, education. And then I found this community that didn't have any academies, which is pretty rare in Spain. You go to most cities and there's an academy on every corner. And I've always been drawn to places that like are, underserved communities. So it just kind of stuck with me. And honestly, I'm somebody like, once I get it in my head, I just like need to figure out how to do it.
But how did you find this place? Was like by chance, or were you looking every city to see?
Honestly, it was kind of it was one of those things like, we came to Spain for the summer. I was like trying to convince my husband why Spain was great and why we should move here. And the more I was here, the more I was like, I want to move back. I want to move back. But not knowing how at all. And then, I met somebody who was from this town, and, the original idea was like that we were going to be business partners. He was from this town, and the idea was we're going to be business partners. And I think this was, it was like, you'll be the teacher and I'll take care of the behind the scenes stuff, and we'll both own the business. And part of the thing was on his end, I'll take care of the immigration things. But he didn't know about immigration. And so, I kind of like, I guess I wanted to believe it because I wanted to move here. And, and then he started sending me information about this, the business, these things. And it sounded great and everything checked out. And I had all the things that I needed. And people at the consulate said, oh yeah, you can apply for this there. And then it just started to get more and more complicated, because the truth is, like, I think, immigration is complicated, and I don't think that this person really understood that, and I definitely didn't understand it either. But once I applied for that, it didn't work out. But I was here, and I was already like, no, this is what I want, and I'm gonna really work for this. And that, I arrived in Spain in December of 2017, and I didn't actually get to open my business until October of 2019. So it was almost 2 years fighting for this. But it was something
exactly.
I was passionate about. So definitely.
So for all of you that you are listening, because when things don't go like you expected, like some people don't want to like change their steps. So in this case, Emily had to go back and apply from there, which is it of course it was inconvenient for her. She would have loved to stay in Spain and fix that, but at what point you need to say, okay, this was not the correct path, and it's better to get on a plane and fix this and continue fighting with something that it doesn't have a solution, because once you become with a bad strategy, sometimes you cannot fix from here things.
Yeah, and that was the problem, because it just kept we were trying to fix things, and we were just going in this circle, but we didn't actually even know we were in this unending circle till we met with you, until you said, like, I can help you, but like, we have to start from zero. And zero means like you going back to States and like literally starting all over, which is obviously hard to hear if you've like, but I've worked so long on this. But it was, it was obviously the best thing that ever happened to us, because we actually got an opportunity to start again and do it the right way. It's definitely like you have to let your ego go a little because you think like what you're doing, and then you realize you're not, but that there is a solution. I think that's the other important thing. Like there are solutions. This isn't like, that was another thing, like you really made me feel when I first met you, like that there was a solution to this, that it wasn't like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, like you tried and it didn't work. It was like, no, like you didn't do it the right way, but there's this path.
There is this correct way that it could have. So you were in the middle. It could have worked through entrepreneurial visa, but they are very tough. So then, like fighting with something that get stuck, and they say no. Sometimes it's like fighting, or I don't know, hitting to a wall, because when they say no, for them it is in immigration. It is very difficult for them to say, okay, I got confused in this, that is, there is no like a clear answer. So what they understand as impact in a city, economic impact or innovative, can be a different criteria than the one that we have, because it's not defined in anywhere.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, like when you get those letters from immigration, like, well, we haven't accepted your application, there always seems like there's a way to reapply, but it really is kind of like once they've made their decision that way, it's not, again, like you said, it's hard to convince them like, no, you made the wrong choice. So also like understanding that, but I really feel it like took us, and it's not just like a language barrier. Like my husband's a native Spanish speaker, it's not even like, oh, it's because we didn't like understand Spanish. No, it was like, it's this really specialized language that if you don't know how to decode it, it's like you can really get lost in it. So
but you were talking about, so the plan was you were in the back of, like the back office of the academy, and your business partner was going to teach, but
no,
that changed.
The opposite. So I was supposed to be the teacher, because honestly,
okay.
I didn't really know about business. I mean, I was a public school teacher in New York, so I was supposed to be the teacher, and he was supposed to take care of the business things. But once it was clear, it wasn't a good working relationship, and it was clearly like, became clear it was my passion project. And when things started to get difficult with paperwork and stuff, I didn't want to give up on it. And so it became fully my business. And, I figured out how to make it work, both being the teacher and doing all the business part of it, which has been like the best experience ever, because I feel like I've learned all these new skills that I never would have learned otherwise. And it truly is like my baby. Like this project is now my baby. But it does take, like, I think with like anything good in life, like it takes work, and even I actually, I wish that of course I wish I'd known from the beginning how to do my paperwork, but I actually think it's really like made me who I am, that I've had to work through this and like not give up when it got tricky, because there was a light at the end of the tunnel. It just took a while. And I think it's made me appreciate, now that I actually have my visa, I have my business, and everything's running so well, it really makes me appreciate it in a way I don't know if I would have if I just like had gotten the visa day one.
Yeah, it's true. And how is your business? Is well, or has been impacted by the COVID?
We closed in March when the quarantine happened, and we moved totally online, but we were able to continue doing a lot of classes online. And actually today was our first day of the new school year, and we've chosen to open online. Just, I want to see like how how school goes for the next month or so in the public. sector before I choose to open. But I'm really lucky that I can fully run the academy online. Of course, I miss seeing my students and I want to get back in the classroom, but I'm actually just running it online for now. So that's great. Yeah.
And
And I
give
want
some,
my
excuse
renewal.
me?
Oh, I was just going to say that the renewal for my visa.
I was going to ask you to give
Yeah.
some good news. Renewal, how is renewal?
I mean, it was so, I think they're ironic. Applying for the visa, even when I got on the right path, even when you got me on the right path, it was a lot of work applying for the freelance visa. Like it did require a lot of documents and things and getting all those together. So it was a good, like a lot of work, but actually knew what to do that time. So that was good. But the renewal was like maybe the easiest thing I've ever done. It was like literally like, here are my taxes. Here's a copy of my residency. Like so easy. I submitted it. Like you know, your lawyers helped me submit it. They basically just gave me a list. You know, here are the 10 things you need. Okay, I sent them all. For once, the checklist was actually like I've done everything. And literally, like, it didn't even take a month. And like, you sent me a text, like, look, you got it. I was like, I couldn't believe when I got that text from you. Like, I was like, wait, what? Like, less than a month? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So I think that's also really encouraging. Like, once you actually get the initial visa, it's not like you're going to have to experience that
it's
again.
True, because when people says, oh, freelance visa, but it's only for a year, and then do I have to do all of this again? No, renewal is much more simple. No criminal records, no contracts, no things, taxes. So the important thing about a renewal is having that more or less the plan in the year, more or less, so you can variate. But it's more than half easier than the first application.
It was so easy. It was and I could do it all from Spain. I didn't need to go anywhere. I didn't need to go back to the States. And it was also, they renewed it for 2 years, which was great.
Exactly.
Because I feel much calmer. Like I don't have to be thinking like, oh God, in a year I need, no, it's like 2 years. And so that's been like a big weight off my shoulders. So that's really great.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you have a freelance, you have it for 1 year. It's true that when you get an entrepreneurial visa, they give it to you for 2 years. But it is much more difficult renewing entrepreneurial than freelance visa, because in the entrepreneurial, they really check your business plan and what you said that it was so special, and check everything if you follow more or less how you said it. In the freelance visa, just they want to check if you have an average income that is fine. So even I have said it in some other interviews, even when I have entrepreneur visas approved, because I have a lot also, but in the middle of the 2 years, I call them and I tell them, how is your business working? How is your plan? Because if not, I change them from entrepreneur to freelance visa. Because if not, all the work that you've done in the 2 years when you get an entrepreneurial visa, you lose it. Because if you are not doing it correctly, they deny the renewal and it's nothing to do there. So it's very important from the beginning and to continue, especially with the entrepreneurial visa. It's very, very important to choose if you should go through that option. And then if it once, because business change and a lot of things happens, and sometimes you end up doing even another business, not in the case of Emily, but there are people that they reinvent they sell themselves and they do such a completely different thing. So for freelance visa, that would not be a problem at all. But in the entrepreneurial visa, they won't approve it So
Yeah.
this kind of tricks and clarifications, I like to tell them because they don't know. Maybe they are doing things in 2 years that they are like getting a train to have a denial, you know?
Yeah. And I'm sure if somebody had like gone through my whole business plan, I'm not going by the book, you know, like things change. That's part of having a business. Like things change.
Exactly.
So I didn't feel any of that pressure, like that I had to prove that I was doing exactly what was initially put into my business plan. But I think like just like having somebody explain everything to me has been so I think it's key when you're going through these immigration processes, because you need somebody to be like, these are the steps, these are the pros, these are the cons, because otherwise you're kind of just like picking at straws. And I don't know, it was really, really helpful to know like every step of the way, like, okay, this is what you need to do, or this is what's coming next. And definitely like
Exactly.
it made me feel a lot better.
And yes, and it was very stressful because your course was open starting, and the academy should be open. So
Yeah.
it is very important, I think, this interview, because people who, when they start having problems, they get a lot of pressure on them that my business should be running already and I should be there. Uh, Giving the classes and all these things. Emily was telling me, you remember? I should be there and I should start it.
Stressed out. Poor I know I had to get a lot of phone calls.
No, but this
So
is normal, and why I'm trying with this interview is to see how good is Emily now, and she had
yeah.
a business to start and not the correct visa, and look, now it's in a renewal, and I don't know, maybe next year we interview her and she has 3 academies. Who
That's the
knows?
next hope. The next hope is franchise. Once COVID gets better, that's definitely my next step. Because
But maybe this COVID and doing online things makes you like think bigger, because really you can give classes to well, not to the whole Spain, to the whole world, really.
yeah, no,
Given remotely.
we're getting students from outside, from different parts of Andalusia who are
Oh,
contacting
good.
us. So that's awesome. And it's also we're really starting to think about branching out and just building our client base. So that's been really exciting. Yeah. No, it's
Very, very good. So COVID, even if I don't know, the business change again, but it gives
yeah.
you even like, I don't know, more future.
Yeah, and also like just like this whole experience has made me more be like think on my toes and be flexible and not be like, well, this is the idea I had, so it
Exactly.
has to work this way. It's like, no, things happen and come up, and you kind of just have to go with the flow a little, even though that's hard for me. But like that, I think it, like I said, even though the experience was long and had a lot of ups and downs, I don't think I could be like the business person I am right now if I hadn't had to go through some of that. So if anyone's watching this and going through those downs, especially, like, there is an up. It's just, and it will make you like stronger when it comes to this kind of stuff.
So Emily and her husband really came very flexible, because in the end we end up doing different things for each other and finding a different solution to each other, right?
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Like my husband's doing his own thing. You were also very helpful with us, saying my husband's he has dual citizenship, United States and Venezuela. And so you were also helpful in being like, well, you can, he kind of always thought like, oh, I'm just going to use my American passport wherever I am. And you were helpful in being like, you have this other passport that in Spain is actually really helpful. It actually like, there's more pathways for you. And so even that, and he's getting to study. You know, he always wanted to do a master's degree in the States, but it's just so expensive there. So he's actually getting to study now, which is something he's always wanted. He'd always wanted to go back to school, and now he's actually getting to do it. And so a lot of doors were open for us. And so that was also exciting.
Exactly. I think really I think that the best benefit of having an immigration lawyer that know is getting all the options that you have, because sometimes if they know a little but not that much, what they tell you is an option which could be good and could be valid, but maybe you don't know all the options. For example, in this case, entrepreneurial visa, as we talk about, include family. So her husband could get a residency and a work permit, but with the freelance visa, they don't include the family. That is an important difference. But now that Emily has a renewal, she could do reunification. Reunification means I don't know if I have to tell you this,
no,
Emily.
Okay.
Good news, because she couldn't do it before the year. So now we get the renewal, and now I'm going to tell you another option. Okay. So there is a process called reunification. In Spanish, the process is called reagrupación familiar. But a person only can do it when it's been already a year living and it has the renewal. So when you do the reunification, you show that you are married, you show that you have enough financial means, that more or less is earning the minimum salary, okay? More or less is earning the 1,000 euros, even less, okay? And they can give you the residency and work permit for your husband in this case. But the problem is that you can apply from here while he's here, because he has another kind of permit. But whenever it's approved, they give you a month in order to go to the consulate and apply for the visa. So at the consulate, it is very, very easy. It's just getting there at the consulate and submitted criminal records again and medical certificate. But all the procedure can be done here and is resolved here. So once you get the approval, you go, you fly back if the family member is here. You fly back and you go to the consulate with the approval, and it's very quick. It's like in, I don't know, 2 weeks, something like that. So whenever you want and whenever you feel is a good time, because after the year you can do it whenever you want. And what will be the advantages? The advantages will be that your husband will have residency permit and work permit included, and he can choose if he works or not, and if he works by himself or if he's an employee. So it's a good option, Emily.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So you see, depending in the path that you get, you get one residency or the other. It's true that it's more comfortable, the entrepreneurial one, that you have from the beginning work permit for both. But in the end, we fix things, and after a year, you can both have the work permit.
Yeah, there's always a solution, but you need, like, I can't recommend you enough. I know, seriously, like, I tell any American I know living here, like, you have to get in touch with my lawyer, because really, I mean, Yvonne and I we actually would not be in, if it weren't for you, we would have given up at some point, because
I think I met you in a point that you were very close to give up.
Yeah,
very close.
Really,
and look now,
like, in that moment. Yeah, no, seriously. So it's like, you really gave us like a new chance in Spain, which was just incredible. So I always like sing your praises to people, because I do find the Americans I know who live here, they're just kind of, they don't know how to go. They're just kind of lost a lot of times. They don't know like what their next step is or how to get there or anything like that. You really need
Exactly.
somebody to help you.
But for all of you, renewals of whatever is always easier. Okay, whatever you are, but if you are doing things and complying with the law, of course, it's like you need to have some criterias, like, I don't know, you need to be 6 months per year in Spain, except for golden visas. You need to renew from 3 months before to 2 after, things like that are very, very important to know, because if not, you lose everything that you have be working for.
Well, with our renewal, we just went through you, because I was like, I am not going to have done all of this and then attempt to do this myself for the renewal. Like, I know it's going to be easier, but I feel like I wouldn't risk that. I'm sure some people do it and they do it fine, but I felt like, oh, I really want to do all of this through Ainoa, because I don't want there to be anything. And doing
yes,
it,
because you never know, because you remember when you started for the renewal of your husband, they were asking like for a lot of things, and some of them they shouldn't ask for, but if you don't know it, you get nervous and you say, but what should I do now? They are asking for this and that and I don't have it. So don't worry, even that immigration is asking things, sometimes they are not correct.
Really? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you would never, like a just regular person would never think to question what immigration's asking from you, you know?
Exactly. And so in your case, the academy already existed, or did you create it from scratch? I don't remember. How was it in your case?
It did not exist.
Oh,
It didn't exist.
exactly. So even more difficult, huh?
Yeah. No, it was starting from zero.
Because another option that everyone has, and that you need to know is that you can buy, if you want, or get like someone is transferring the academy or any kind of business, or getting a franchise. That is also a freelance visa. And yes, and people sometimes they are a little lost and they don't know, or they don't know really what they want to do. So franchises are sometimes a very good option, because they give you like, here is the business, just open it. In any case, we need to do all the business plan and everything, and so that. But it's true that what you did is difficult. Starting our business from scratch from the beginning is stressful, but
now I see why, most all English academies in Spain are British. Like, there's a reason for that, because now with Brexit, I don't know, but before that,
now the good thing about that, I think, is that I have a lot of US clients that they have like difficulties getting a job offer from academies, because they always hire British, because it's easier. And I've told them, and I've thought that this is going to be good for US citizens, because now they will not be better to hire a British teacher. So if they have to do documents, then really you are in the same position to get the job.
Yeah, no, totally. I think that's going to change things. But definitely, like, as of now, you walk around and all the academies are British. Most of the teachers, like a lot of the English teachers you meet are British. So it's kind of nice to like stand out with that too. It's like, no, we're American.
It's true, because well, I think people like a lot like the concept, and like we watch a lot of movies in the US, and accents are like so different, and that is very good to have a US academy. Do you
Yeah.
put it in the in like in the publicity and everything? Do you say that you are American?
So it's called American English Academy. So no, there's no confusion. And like
It's
the
true.
logo is a big American flag. So I'm definitely more patriotic in Spain than I am in the US. But yeah, like that's kind of my brand, because I really do think, I think that's also a thing when you open a business, especially something where there's a ton of English Academy. So what's going to set me apart? Like finding your thing that kind of makes you a little bit different. So I do think that this makes us, you know, it does make us different, and I feel like proud of that. So that's nice too.
Very
Yeah.
good, Emily.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very, very
Thank
much to
you.
share everything with us, with me, and
Thanks
with all
for,
the viewers.
thanks for everything you've done for us. I know, seriously, we can't thank you enough. We're
No,
forever.
no, of course. You were very good applicants, because really you had a lot of things, a lot of things. The problem was, well, the problem is like always, like sometimes things doesn't come up like easy in the beginning, but it's been a pleasure working with you and having a really success case, not only in the immigration part, but in the business part. That is always very good.
Like I said, I never thought I was gonna. If somebody had told me 2 years ago, oh yeah, you and I know are going to be having conversation about how well your visa worked out, and I would have not believed them. So
I remember when you sent me the picture with your visa stamped in the passport.
I
So hard to get it, and so happy for you.
Oh my God, I know. That was a good day.
Yeah. So,
Well,
well, Emily, thank you
Noah.
very much.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer some questions that there are there, but you can continue with your day. That this was
Okay.
your first day. How was it? It was good.
Good. Yeah. It was nice to see nice to see students on the camera, and it's just nice to be back. I've kind of like been itching to work again. So it's good. It's exciting.
I think that you can even give better service, because then you can maybe do classes like without camera, because when we are Spanish and we don't see people talking, it's even more difficult to understand. So with this online business, you can also like train this, or you put the mask and let's see.
My B2 students. I might try that.
Yes, because exactly, because the other day I have a consultation the other way around. Okay, the person went to an Spanish exam for the Spanish citizenship, because you know that there is a Spanish exam.
Yeah.
And he told me, I don't know if, and it's A2, the level. And he told me, I don't know if I passed, because we had the mask and I didn't understand so well. And it's true that there is a lot of difference. So put that in your course.
That's a good idea. Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. Thank you very much to share your experience with us.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Well, I don't know if there are some questions, Raquel, that I need to answer, or we are okay because we have changed the day. Okay. Now let's say, great, Ainhoa. I am from Philippines and I am in Spain on a non-lucrative visa. Next year, I will apply for the Nacionalidad Española after 2 years legal residency. I note that the 2 years of residency is supposed to be continuous and immediately prior to the application. Last year, I had to go home twice for a total of 44 days. Is 6 weeks outside of Spain last year going to be a problem, or do they allow short trips abroad? I'm confused by continuous. Thank you very much. Okay, Knowledge, this is a very good question because you are completely fine, okay? The criteria, it is that you can be outside more or less 3 months per year. And I say criteria because the law doesn't say so, okay? But the court, the judges have answered in a lot of cases that the normal thing is to be outside around 3 months. And if you are more, doesn't mean that they are going to deny it. It means that they are going to study your case and they will decide if you are enough integrated into Spain. So what does it mean, continuous? Really, it means that you don't have to lose your residency. Imagine that you apply for a non-lucrative, okay, and then you don't renew it because you don't have enough means to renew it. You become irregular, and then you marry to a Spanish citizen, and you get regular again. They will not be continuous because you became irregular and after that regular again. But if you renew, okay, that you renew with no problems, that will mean continuously. And the exits, I already told you, around 3 months per year, it will be perfectly fine. Good luck. Jose says, is it possible to claim a parent with a non-lucrative or golden visa? How much is the amount of support that needs in euros as annual proof of support for each parent? Okay, Jose. For golden visa, for sure. Okay, for golden visa, if your parents are depending on you, you can bring them with you, and they will get the same 2 years, and after renewal 5 years. With the non-lucrative, you need to have, in order to do reunification, okay, you need to comply with 2 different things. One is that you have larga duración. So to bring parents, you cannot do reunification after a year. So only after 5 years. And the other thing is that, of course, they need to depend on you, but they need to be older than 65 years old. What is the solution regarding not depending on all of this? Asking for a non-lucrative for them also. If they can show the 30,000 euros, if there are parents, so if there are 2 of them, 40, it's going to be perfect for them to get a non-lucrative visa. Remember that with the parents, for the non-lucrative visa, the most difficult thing is to get the private insurance, because the older you are, the more difficult you have it to get the insurance. Okay, Raquel, I don't know if there are more questions. Okay, Sarah says, thank you so much for answering my questions a couple of weeks ago. I know I had an additional question about registering a foreign marriage in Spain. I look on the Registro Civil website of guidelines and how to start the process, but I only found the information about inscribir un matrimonio, which seemed to indicate it was for couples who are planning on registering and then getting married with the approved timelines according to the registro. How will a couple go about registering a marriage after the ceremony has been performed? Also, since we got married in Gibraltar, will we have to correspond with possibility visa of La Línea de la Concepción in person to the registration process? Okay, so I don't really know what you read about, but registering the marriage is what you talk about. I remember a case I did like 4 years ago, something like that, with La Línea de la Concepción, because it was a little more difficult, and I'm going to check it and send it to you in private how it was the process, because it was a little different than normally. So I'm going to check that and I will let you know. But in general cases, for all of you that get married outside, remember, and you get married to a Spanish citizen, of course, okay? Remember, you have two ways to register the marriage. One is in the at the consulate. Normally, it is the slowest procedure, except in some consulates that suddenly they do it quickly, and we can check with that consulate at that time. Normally, it's much slower. So the other option is at the Registro Central, okay? So what they ask is the birth certificates, marriage certificates of the place that you did it. You can also show where you've been living in the last 2 years, and the forms, and that we submitted at the Registro Central, and is the one that do the registration. But in any case, for the La Línea, I'm going to check it because I did one and it was a little special, I remember. Okay, Jennifer, are they allowing people to marry on video if you are from another country? My partner and I were planning to get married this fall, but now I cannot come into Spain. So there are an option to marry in Spain with him there, me, and here. Yes, Jennifer, is not by video. It's called matrimonio por poderes. So you give a power of attorney to anyone to represent you in Spain, but that is a very slow procedure. And I'm telling you this, okay, because sometimes we have to think for tricks. Maybe you can come with a Spanish course, and then you will be with a Spanish visa here, and you get married here. Maybe you can prove that you have a relationship of at least a year, and you can enter as pareja estable, okay? Remember, even with COVID, remember that there are 3 ways to get permiso de familiar de comunitario. One is marriage, the other one is pareja de hecho, and the other one is pareja estable, and also to enter now with COVID. So if you show that you've been in a relationship living together for a year, which is not easy, you need evidences, okay? But you will be able to enter, and you will be able to get the family member permit from here. And it's a very good option, much better than getting married like on the por poderes by distance, because it takes like a year. It's very, very slow, and it takes like a year without COVID. With COVID, I don't know how long it's going to take. I think we should talk and see if we can do the pareja estable, or come in with a student permit and then you get married here. Katy, okay, right now I'm doing my internship in Madrid, but I want to stay when it finishes with a new job. What kind of contract do I need in my next job in order to work legally and stay legally? I'm doing internship. Okay. So I understand that you have a residencia de prácticas, okay? And that you're doing an internship with another company, right? I'm doing internship práctica in Madrid, because I don't have it clear, because you remember that you can be a student and do prácticas, or have residencia de prácticas, which is different. You get residencia de prácticas when you are studying a degree or master's degree, or you have studied even in the last 2 years in your country, and you can get a residencia de prácticas. So, well, after a year, you can change to cuenta ajena, the normal cuenta ajena. What you will need is an offer of a 1-year contract, okay, of minimum salary. Of course, in addition, to that, you need documents from the company, like the escrituras, the taxes, everything, because they will check that the company is okay. And the company will have to go to the appointment. But yeah, that is a little uncomfortable for them. But once it's approved, it's a very, very good option for you, because you are free. You can work for that company, but then if you want to change, you can, because you know that with the Residencia Prácticas you cannot change of companies, but with the Cuenta Ajena you can. And also then you start with the normally if you have the 1 year already, they will give it to you for 2 years, which is very good. And after that, another 2 years. Good luck, but what you need is a 1 year contract, or indefinido, of course, the minimum 1 year contract with salario mínimo. Bravo, Emily, Lenny, very good. Thank you for the useful information. Okay, thank you very much for all of you watching us. I had to change dates because also for Emily was better today than for tomorrow. Maybe we can put again this video tomorrow, or if we have enough information, we can do another video tomorrow. But thank you very much for being here. You see, Emily is the case of Emily, I think, is very encouraging, because she really had some problems to get the approval, because sometimes the things get stuck, and now she has an academy, and now because of COVID she's teaching to the whole world, at least the whole Spain. So we are here to help you: entrepreneurial visa, freelance visa, non-lucrative, pareja estable, whatever you need. The best thing you have is you need to find the correct permit for you, because there are a lot, and I think the key of the success is finding the correct one for you, and the one that is better in short term and long term. Because maybe a student visa is now very good, but long term is not something very comfortable, because you need to continue renewing. So the main thing is that you need to think ahead, and having someone, if you have a lawyer, so having someone that can tell you what are pros and cons, and just decide and go ahead and get a residency permit in Spain, or nationality, or whatever you need. So thank you very much, and thank you, Raquel, as always, to help me with everything. Bye.